Well, hello everybody, and let me welcome you to this episode of G Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. We're in the garden house today. That's where I started off. I got those bags of soil that I brought in and got them opened up and broken up into little chunks, and broke up all the little chunks and spread it all out, and got this part of the garden all dressed up and all ready. So that it can sit through the winter and cool off a little bit. And I'll be watering all of this down because just like compost, that's what this is. It is compost, and it still needs to break down more. When I see chunks like this, I just break those up by hand. But you see the wood chunks and that stuff in here. See, that all has to still break down more. And the worms will help it along, but you got to get it good and wet. Then the worms really like to go for it. So I'll be soaking this all down first thing. Well, I can't say first thing tomorrow because I did also put some fresh garden soil around all my trees. And as you can see, I hollowed out around the trunks of the trees because you don't want to bring the soil up higher on the trunk of the tree than what it has been. It'll cause a problem and rot the bottom of the tree. You spread that out a little bit, but you build it up a little higher around the outside, and that's fine. It'll break down, but it'll put nutrients back into the soil that have been used up through the year. Now, I started my box here and then realized I don't have enough wood for this. So I'm going to have to go in and pick up some 2x2s at the Home Depot, but I also need at least 2 more bags of soil in here. I don't want to get up too high around my grapevine because that grapevine has taken root, and it's probably going to produce grapes this year because it's got brown stem. And once you see brown stem, it'll produce grapes. Now, they may not be the best of quality or large quantity, but it will produce grapes coming this springtime. And this one I'm ready to start pruning all of the dead leaf branches and that stuff off of it. I'll get those into my compost. And this will probably be the last year that I'll actually have to buy soil. My compost now is starting to get filled to a point where I'll have my own compost soil by the end of next year. So I'll be transferring that into the garden at the end of the year. Also, a lot of people ask, what do you do with like tin cans and stuff when you're off-grid homesteading? Well, first thing I do is I put them in my fire pit and I burn them along with some papers and a campfire at night or whatever. Just get a fire going, throw all your cans in, labels and all that stuff, and let it burn off the outsides and whatever linings they have on the insides of the cans. And then you take those cans, and when you're setting up your garden like this, you take one and scoop it into the dirt and bury it, and then put the fresh soil over the top. And you put those here and there all the way around. And what happens is those will break down through the year of gardening, and they'll release iron into the soil. And iron chelate, of course, helps with getting nice green leaves on your plants and that stuff. So no need to waste the cans or worry about finding a place to have to dispose of them. Bury them in the garden. Bury them in your ground outside. If they're going to grow stuff out there, you got bushes and trees and stuff, just dig a hole and bury your tin cans after you burn them. You do want to burn them first because a lot of tin cans nowadays come with linings on the inside to protect the taste of iron from leaching into whatever is inside the can, whatever vegetables inside the can. And you can do that with soup cans, vegetable cans, fruit cans, whatever kind of can you got. You can throw it in the fire, burn it up, and then if you put them all into a big container and just save them, you'll notice that they'll start rusting out already through the year. And that's fine. I still use them for other things. And if I feel like doing a little plinking at the exercise area, I fill them up with some desert dirt and set them up there and put a couple of holes through them It just helps them break down faster when you bury them in the garden. So many uses for cans. Don't throw them away, right? And don't worry about filling up our landfill with those things. So I forgot to mention that I did plant 2 rows of beets here. So I put that little thing there so that if it starts sprouting up and somebody says, what's growing there? I don't have to say, beats me. Oh, you're so clever. Anyway, these 2 are going to be pulling out and taken back on the next trip when I go to pick up the soil. These are the 2 Concord grapes that never took. So I'm just going to try to get a credit on those. They say that they back these things up for 1 year. That's why I kept the tags on here. It shows Home Depot Concord table grape. So I got one of the bags there. The other one blew away or disappeared in the winds. But I'll bring the 2 of them in and I'll just get a credit for them so that as soon as they get the new ones in, I'm going to have them contact me and say, hey, we've got fresh Concord grape plants in. And I'm going to get down there and get choice pick of a couple of good ones. They were pretty sorry this time, but I figured I'd give them a chance anyway. And they didn't have very much flex to them, and they didn't have very many roots coming out of them. And they were packed in just sawdust, or not even sawdust, but wood shavings. And the wood shavings weren't even wet, so I was pretty sorry, but I figured I'd give them a chance because it was the last ones they had anyway. Anyway, everything else is coming up beautifully here. And I still haven't eaten that strawberry because it's still as hard as a rock. I want it to soften up a little bit more before I try that. All right, so I need 2 more bags to finish off that garden, but I'm going to get 4 more bags because I want to get a little bit more into this part of the garden too and lift this up. Because in springtime, after I get my winter crops out of here, I'm going to be laying another 2x4 or maybe even 2x6 across the top of this 2x12 to raise it up even a little bit higher. And then I'll be infilling that with more soil because it's not quite deep enough at the 11 inches of soil that I have in there. It's fine for shallow root plants, but for the deep root plants, the ones that really like to spread out, there's just not enough soil there. All right, so I moved these bags out of the greenhouse, and my lettuce here is just really happy. But anyway, I got a space cleared out right there because I'm going to be getting another shelf into there to get some more plants going. And I came through and started repotting all of these citrus trees that I got from Aurora because they were just root bound and they weren't growing anywhere. They were just sprouting some leaves and then they wouldn't go anywhere. Well, heck, when I pull them apart, the soil was just caked around the roots. The roots couldn't even break free from it. So I broke all of that soil off of the roots and put soft soil in the bottom, wet it up really good, and then put some of my Go Juice in there, the Jumpstart Plant Tonic, in the water, and got them down because that's going to make the roots set very quickly, and they're going to spread out through that soil very quickly. So you probably see these citrus trees starting to really spring up. Now I'm going to have to do it to this avocado tree too, because that's got a heck of a rootstock in it, and it's pretty solid, and so is the soil. So I'm pretty sure that that's root bound in there. But I've got a few other things growing in here that I could still use. So I'll give this a little bit more time, and then I'm going to get it into one of those big pots right there, and then it's going to go down on the ground. So like these over here, I've got this citrus tree, this tall one, I got that into a big pot. Then I moved these 2 up into bigger pots. They were in pots that size before, but there was only half full of soil, not filled all the way up. I filled my pots all the way so I get more going. I transplanted this Bush Blue Lakes, the 274s. I transplanted one of them just this morning, and that has grown an inch just today, just getting into the new pot. Have been able to get out of that little seed starter pack and spread its roots. It's grown an inch already. That's amazing. So I decided I'm going to put in some green crop beans. That's these right here. Remember, seed packages in the garden house or greenhouse do not count in the contest. But the contest hasn't started yet. It won't start until right after Thanksgiving. And I will be announcing the day that it starts and the time that it starts and the official rules. So down there, I got some of my bush cucumbers transplanted. I still have a couple more here. I promised my neighbor I'd give her some. So I think she'd probably only be able to use one set like this because there's 2 plants in there and they can be separated out. Same thing here. There's 2 plants in this one and they can be separated out. These didn't come up. So they may still come up. They may be late bloomers, but you never know. But all of this other stuff, that's the bean that I pulled out and transplanted over there and grew an inch today. And then I saw this one just starting to sprout out of there today. So I got another one coming up, and that'll get transplanted. And I'll get it into another pot about that size, and that'll be just dedicated for one plant. And it should give enough nutrients and root room so that I get some crop off of that plant. And this is just an experiment for the first year going through the winter in this place. Look at this. It's still 90 degrees in here at going on 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So, yeah, it's really nice working in here. My tomatoes are really loving it. I got them up high in where they get the sun most of the day. And then my radishes here. Look at these radishes. Well, that's something I haven't seen for a while. The idiots down the road coming down my road with a water truck. They haven't done that in 2 weeks. So they must have forgot that they could use their own road. So anyway, yeah, my radishes, these are the other ones that I had. Even the bumper crop ones have sprouted and they're coming up. And then over here, look at these radishes. They're really going to town. So I got those going crazy. And then there's the little bumper crop ones down there just starting. And then I decided to plant some more into this pot as an extra bumper crop, so I'll have them constantly going. I transplanted these 2 citrus trees. These are tangelos, and I grew these from seed off of seeds I got from tangelos I picked off my friend Bill's tree, and they were root bound in the pots because I only had about that much soil in them to get them started, and I pulled them out, freed up all of the roots, and then got some more soil in here, so they'll take and go really quick. Peppers haven't sprouted yet, but everything else is just doing just fine. Carrots haven't sprouted yet, but they take a little while. They're usually about 14 days before you start seeing any little sprouts coming up. And this citrus tree here, this is also a tangelo from my friend Bill's tree. And this one's doing really healthy. And it's liking that extra room in this big pot. And I've got some cilantro that popped up here. And there's some catnip popping up right there. And somebody asked me to keep them up to date on my asparagus. And look at this. I got fresh ones coming up in the asparagus. And over here, look at this. Fresh ones coming up in the asparagus. So yeah, they're doing good. They're happy. And they're doing well. So we got all that put away. This one's running a little bit long. I'm sorry about that. I hadn't planned on that. But getting through here with all the stuff I did today took that much time. So let's quickly head up here and visit Tomcat. Everybody wanted to know how Tomcat was doing. And I had him opened up today because it was a beautiful day today. It was like summer today. Now, I had my shirt off most of the day working on my tan. And just put it on now because it's starting to cool off a little bit. I would say out here it's probably still 70 degrees, but that's starting to get a little cool because the sun's not up high in the sky and baking down on us. All right, so here we go. There's Tomcat in the cage. How you doing, Tomcat? Hey, little buddy. See, when he hisses, it's almost like he's meowing, not like he's mad or anything. He just likes saying hi. So I'm going to be feeding him here in a little bit. But see, this is what happens when I open the cage. And I could reach in here and grab his bowl and all that stuff. And that's all he does. Right, Tomcat? Yep, that's right. So he doesn't try to bolt or anything like that. And he's happy where he's at. He's just telling me right now it's starting to cool off, and he's ready for me to close up this his tarp here and put his warm water bottles in there. But I want to make sure he has enough food to get through the night, so I'm going to fill his food up here. All right, everybody, that's all I have for today. And this is G Bear thanking you for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe. You remember, you're not going to be able to be in the seed giveaway unless you're a subscriber to my channel. So, and it's free. Doesn't cost you anything. It'll never cost you anything. And all you have to do is press that subscribe button down at the bottom, and on the bottom right below the video. Just hit that subscribe, and when the little bell notification pops up, just tap on that, and then you'll be notified when I post a new video, so you won't have to go searching for them. You'll know when it happens. Thanks everybody for joining me. This is G Bear signing off.